Alright everyone, get out your books and your pencils because class is in session. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Bond Between Teacher and Student. Today we have a Dark Magician deck list submitted by Manuel. And first he writes, so I watched a few vids, yours included, and I've come up with this new deck list for my locals this week. P.S. I want to try to avoid the Dogmatica engine if I can help it, just off of personal preference, but if need be, I have 1 Ecclesia and 3 Punishments, and I can also get some Nadir Servants if need be. So he has sent me his deck list here, which I have put into Dueling Book. So we are going to edit this deck for him 1 card at a time, and we're going to try to keep this more of a pure variant of Dark Magician rather than Dogmatica, because he did specifically request that he wanted, by player preference, not so much Dogmatica. So here's what we're going to do. Let's go through the list right now, and let's look at what we know we're going to change. So I think Duster is almost always just a side deck card. Whoops. Sorry. Technical difficulties. I think Duster is almost always a side deck card. Magicalized Fusion, I've been in a very weird place with. We'll come back to this one on Magicalized Fusion. And Crackdown, we can probably cut Crackdown. I'm going to cut Imperm. I'm also going to cut Navigation. I'm going to cut the Solemn cards for now. We might revisit them. But since we're already playing double Eternal Soul, I don't think we need double Salvation, so we're going to go to the 1. And although this is one of my favorite hand traps, this just isn't really the best format for Phantasme, so I think we're going to move away from Phantasme as well. And just so we can start clean with just the Dark Magician engine, we're going to come back to Ash Blossom as well. So let me get into some explanation here. I feel when deck building that Magicalized Fusion and Secrets of Dark Magic kind of fulfill the same card role. They're both only ever going to be win more cards. They're not really ever starter cards. They're bricks on turn 1. So, you know, I think that you can play one of either one of these. I've played both before, and while they both can come up, normally it's more bricky, and I normally pick this one just because it is searchable. This is very similar to like your El Shaddai fusion of the Dark Magician deck, so sometimes you can get some cheeky wins. So we're going to revisit here, and we're going to go with 3 Red Eyes Fusion because this is the best starter card in the pure Dark Magician deck. And I'm going to actually work towards a build that I was playing for quite some time of Dark Magician, and this is more of a control-based build of Dark Magician. So we're definitely going into the right steps here. So basically, what you want to do in a build like this is you want to turn 1 Red Eyes Fusion, and you want to be able to back up Dragoon with traps and just be able to beat them down with Eternal Soul, Dark Magician, and Magician Circle the following turns. So looking at this now, I don't think that there are hand traps that are exceptionally powerful, like that are just generic. So like I don't feel like the Ash Blossom is super impactful right now, but there is a card I think is impactful. That card's Nibiru, so I think we're going to main 3 Nib. And here's the reasoning for main decking Nib over something like Ash. So Nib obviously is going to blow most of your matchups out of the water, right? So it's very impactful in that regard, much more impactful than Ash. Like, getting Tactics on Ash is awful, but at least if you get Tactics after you use Nib, you've already wiped their whole field. And also, it's hard enough to play over just traps or play over Dragoon plus traps, but it's very hard to play over that without also playing into Nib. So the way I normally explain this to people is I say, well, you'll lose your Nib, or you'll lose your Dragoon. And I say, well, if they're going off to this extent, more than likely I've already negated with Dragoon, and they're going to be able to either summon something that can just get it off of the field by sending it, or they're just going to be able to just outright attack over it. So at this point, it makes more sense to be able to just nib your opponent and be able to actually stop them, even if you do lose your Dragoon. That way you can just easily circle away the nib token on your following turn, or even during the end phase of that turn. So this is the one I would pick right now. I think this is a very solid hand trap right now. So we're going to get into some other cards now. And that's going to be powerful trap cards. So we want traps that go 2 for 1. We want to be able to plus off of our trap cards. I'm still a major fan of Ice Dragon's Prison. So we're going to add 2 of this here, as well as 2 copies of Torrential Tribute. And we are also going to play 2 copies of Punishment. I know that he didn't want a Dogmatica variant, but this is just an extremely powerful trap card. Because of playing so many powerful trap cards, we're also going to incorporate playing Trap Trick, because Trap Trick is basically a copy of Punishment, Torrential, or Ice Dragon's Prison. And we're really looking up here. This is a very heavily control-based build of Dark Magician. So I think our last 2 cards are going to follow up being 2 copies of Solemn Strike. Now, moving into our side deck. We can still side deck the Duster. That's completely fine. But it is very important to build our side in accordance to our main deck. So what that means is we can side deck cards that normally wouldn't be that great because we main deck Trap Trick. So we can side deck cards like Double D-Barrier. Obviously, this hits any of the, like the Sword Soul deck. We can do things like Heavy Storm Duster is a very good one. And this is one of my personal favorites, is Waking the Dragon, which we'll get into targets for that here in a second. Obviously, your opponent lightning storms you or goes to blow up your back row, whatever, and you just chain Trap Trick and set Waking the Dragon, and you can go into Ultimate Falcon or Last Warrior from Another Planet. So very, very strong there. Something else you can consider is Secret Village. This isn't a for sure side deck. This is just like options that you have. I don't think that I would go with this and this, because this is kind of like preventing back row destruction, where this you kind of want the back row destruction. So you just kind of have to pick which one you want. And as far as the rest of your side goes, this is just really built in accordance to whatever your local meta is. It's very hard for me to just craft a sideboard right now because I don't know what your actual meta looks like. But you can basically side any normal trap that you want, because you're going to be able to play essentially 5 copies of it. You can do Secret Village, you can do more back row removal, you can play Twin Twister, Cosmic Cyclone, Triple Tactics talents for going first in case they like Ash your ref. You can use Tactics to help draw into more cards. So yeah, that's what I would do as far as the sideboard goes. And then naturally the cards you side out are depending in matchup. Like if Nib's not good in a matchup, you take out Nib. A lot of times you can take out 1 Eternal Soul. A lot of times going second, I actually side out 1 Rod, because going second, you have a higher probability of seeing this card, even if it 2, because you're getting to draw an additional card going second. So it's not wrong to side out starter cards going second. So definitely don't feel bad about siding out those starter cards, especially when you're going second, because you do have a higher probability of seeing them going second because you are drawing an additional card for your turn, versus when you go first, you only get to draw 5. So definitely keep that in mind when you are side decking. So now we're going to move down into the extra deck portion of this deck list. And the first thing that jumps out to me is that I noticed that he is playing Quintet Magician, which isn't normally a standard for this deck, but there is a way that you can play this card effectively. So we are going to do a couple edits, because I do feel like if he's playing this card, he does probably want to be able to play the engine, or the combo, if you will, to be able to make Quintet Magician. So I'm going to leave this up to you. This is how I would do this. If I did decide that I was going to play Quintet Magician, I would cut the skill drain. I would put back in the Magicalized Fusion. And here is why. So we're going to cut some of these links. We're going to cut these guys, because these guys really don't ever come up, right? They just don't happen. Normally you have to be in a winning position for like the XYZs and the links to come up. And also we don't really have a way to make Dark Magician the Dragon Knight anymore, so we're going to go ahead and cut him as well. So for this extra deck, we're going to keep in the Ebon Illusion Magician, but we also need to be playing Naruto, the Moral Leader, and we're going to also play Mduck as well. And let's see, is this is the full combo? Yes. So basically, here's the combo for Quintet Magician. You need Magician Souls plus Apprentice Illusion Magician and any random card to be able to discard. So basically what you do is you Magician Souls out a copy of Dark Magician Girl, and then you summon Apprentice Illusion Magician by discarding a random card. You can activate her effect to search for Dark Magician if you wish. From there, you XYZ Apprentice and Dark Magician Girl into Naruto, which you are very quickly then going to turn into Ebon Illusion Magician. Now you're going to use Ebon's effect, detach an XYZ material, summon another Dark Magician from your deck, which you are then going to link into Mduck, which then you will link Ebon and Mduck into Predaplant Verde Anaconda, activate the effect, pay 2,000, send Magicalized Fusion, and banish 5 spellcasters to summon Quintet, because you are going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's the 2.5 card, technically, Quintet Magician combo. If you don't want to play the Quintet Magician, just go back to how it was before, take this out and put the skill drain back in. So, because of that, we're going to also play a second Verde, because this is going to be needed, because you're going to be you're going to have 2 purposes for your Verde Anaconda in this build. Something else that you can think about playing is the Sky Striker package, which is the 1 Engage, the 1 Hornet Drones. In the extra deck, it's Kogari, Kaina, and Link Spider. That just is a 1-card Predaplant Verde Anaconda engine as well, which you can see from some of my past videos. For the rest of this, we're going to play double Intis, because we are playing Dogmatica Punishment. And really, at the end of the day, we pretty much have everything in here that we're going to be using, except for one very important card. Artemis the Magistus Moon Maiden should always be played in Dark Magician. If you're not familiar why, you normal summon Rod, activate the effect, search for a spell or trap. You then link the Rod into the Artemis. So then on the following turn, whenever you activate, say, Soul Servant that you search off of Magician's Rod, you can then tribute off the Artemis and put the Magician's Rod right back into your hand. So she is a staple Link 1 for the deck. She might as well have been a Dark Magician support card, because she is very, very good for us. So moving into the last portions of the extra deck, since we have 3 slots that are kind of throwaway slots, we're not really going to be using them that much. I've been playing Dark Magician since last December, so almost a full year now. And I have never made a Nightmare Unicorn. I have never made a Nightmare Phoenix. I have never made an Access Code Talker or a Selene. The thing about it is, with Dark Magician, your deck is so weak and so underpowered that if you get into a situation where you can actually link climb into Access Code Talker, you probably could have won without doing it anyway, because normally you're struggling to win. This deck really does get helped out a lot by a Dragoon, but the games where you struggle to find Dragoon, which do come up, it is very hard to win. So a lot of those cards that are just win more, like Access Code Selene, even something like IP Masquerena, normally whenever you have the materials to be able to link, you're going to make Verde. I'm not going to say it's never going to come up that you couldn't make Soldier of Chaos or that you couldn't make Access Code Talker, but in my experience, I've played this deck hardcore for almost a year, from every tier of tournament you can imagine, and I've never been in a situation where I could ever pull that off. So for these last slots, we're actually going to play Chimera Rafflesia. We're also going to play Psyframe Lord Omega, and I'm going to explain these here in a second. We're going to play Relinquished Anima. Oh, nope, not you. Relinquished Anima. So Chimera Rafflesia, if you're not familiar with what this one does, basically the first effect will never happen. But if this is in the graveyard during the next standby phase after it's sent to the graveyard, you can add a polymerization spell card or a fusion spell card from your deck to your hand. So basically, when your Dogmatica opponent Maximuses you, you can send like your own Intis and your own Chimera Rafflesia and search Ref or Magicalize during the standby of your next turn, which is very strong. You can also do it yourself with your own punishment, but you won't be able to activate the Ref the next turn. And then this one's kind of the same thing. Like, you go like punishment, pop a card, send the Cyframe Lord Omega. This is really good to be able to either shuffle stuff back into your own deck, or you can shuffle stuff from your opponent's graveyard back into their deck as well. Kind of deal with those Destroyer Phoenix Enforcers. And then Anima is just a card where I feel like if I have one slot in my deck, I normally just end up picking Anima because it's unexpected. People don't normally play around Anima that much. So once again, something that I want to touch base on again is that these are just suggestions. You know, I haven't sat down and played this deck for hours and hours and hours on end, testing it out to see if this is going to be some tier 0 Dark Magician deck. I haven't done that. These are normally what I feel like that I would build to start playtesting in a direction towards finding a competitive variant. This is what I'd start out with. If you don't like Nibiru, it's not working, you can try going back to Ash. You can try playing Droll and Lockbird. Droll and Lockbird has pretty cool implications with the deck because if you have secrets and a dead Droll, you can make the Dark Magicians with Dark Magician Girl, and like a Droll and Lockbird if you have either one of these plus Droll and this. And then my favorite hand trap, as I've said before in this, is Phantasme, but it's not a very link-heavy format. I like Phantasme because it gives you the main decked hand trap as well as a dragon, so you can actually make Dragon Knight, and you have another way to make Dragoon, which is unexpected. And don't forget that I always try to push Mduck over Link Spider because of the times where you can make Dragoon with this card and this guy, because he is a dragon. So if you're using the Sky Striker engine, you kind of more or less have to play Link Spider. If it comes down to playing this or Link Spider, you kind of have to play Link Spider for the Striker combo. Link Karibo in that case is better, but there are times when you need to Link Spider away Dark Magician to be able to Eternal Soul it back and banish something with Circle. So yeah, so Manuel, I hope that you like this build. Definitely use this as a metaphorical stepping stone to get your deck going into the right direction. And yeah, feel free to email me anytime. I'd like to know about your progress, things that you've changed, things that you like, things that you dislike. All of your feedback is much appreciated. Everyone, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. It motivates me to make more videos like this, Bond Between Teacher and Student, more Dark Magician Journey, more Dark Magician content in general. So I would like to thank all of you for watching, and a special thanks to Manuel for reaching out to me. Once again, I will have my email at the end of this video, and you can reach out to me. Send me your Dark Magician deck list. If you just want me to take a look at it, I'll make a video on what I just genuinely think about it. If you want me to do some edits, I can do that as well. It is a busy time of the year for me. We are in the holiday season, so do be patient, and I promise that I'll get back to you. Thank you everyone for watching the video. This is Mike from Dark Magical Gaming, signing off until next time.